Welcome to Take It from the Iron Woman. My name is Susanne Müller, your host and the Iron Woman. This podcast is about empowering yourself and others to make real changes in the world. You will hear from everyday, smart, sophisticated, hip people like you and me. Not everybody has to be an Iron Woman to impress the world. Together, we will learn from the sports and business leaders how you can become a more successful person as an entrepreneur or a leader. It's one step at a time, one day at a time. Take your steps now. Take your big steps now. Join me on this journey to success. Take it from the Iron Woman. We only have special guests, and today we go to Gina. And when I read from her biography, her impressive biography, we want to say, it says Wall Street rigor, grassroots heart. Gina is Yale-educated, Fulbright honored, deal maker who has orchestrated more than 10 billion in headline-grabbing M&A and capital markets transaction at Davis Polk, Paul Weiss, and Meyer Brown, among them Authentic Brand Group's acquisition of Brooks Brothers and Lucky Brand. And the biography goes on, but there's also the hard part where we want to dig in a little bit. So meanwhile, you're very buttoned up. I also saw that you're passionate about grassroots and the human-centric approach. Gina, give us a little flair of who you are and what you do, and mostly what you're passionate about.
Thank you, Suzanne. It's such an honor to be invited as a guest, and I'm happy to share about my little path. So my name's Gina, and I am the founder of One Ally. It's a boutique corporate law firm bringing that Wall Street rigor and grassroots heart to mission-driven founders and businesses. I actually am the first in my family to go to college to become a lawyer. That's becoming an immigrant to this country. In my early immigration experiences and thinking of survival, of thinking about how do I continue to grow, but also to arm myself with the tools to survive in the society. And over the years, I pivoted multiple times in my career. I started out after college as a Fulbright researcher in Asia, where I focused on community rebuilding after the 2008 earthquakes. So I was very much focused on advocacy and climate advocacy and environmental protection. So after my Fulbright year, I worked for 3 years in China, environmental issues such as water protection. And that led me to start one of Southwest China's first organic farmers alliances. And in my life, there are a few chapters and a few different courses. When I first came to this country, I was 10. My mother, she's a single mother, and we saw how difficult it was to really establish firm roots in this country. And so there's always a part of me that's thinking about community, that's thinking about the immigrant experience, that's thinking about how do we mobilize? How do we become stronger? How do we have a collective voice that can help us prosper as a community? That kind of led me thinking about these issues after college in Asia about impact. And then I took that in the direction of climate action, water protection. Then I also felt somewhere in there, I wanted to bridge community and power and systems. And I thought about going to law school at the time, which to me was, okay, let me learn about the language of power, the language of law, and trying to bridge that two worlds was very important for me. And then I pivoted, right? I became a Wall Street lawyer for 7, 8 years afterwards. It's been an incredible journey for me where I learned a ton. I saw and I oversaw headline grabbing transactions that appeared front news of Wall Street Journal. And there were definitely huge successes. It looked great on paper, but there's a lot of internal disconnect at the time. I always thought, is this somewhere that I actually wanted to be? And what would I tell that a 9-year-old girl who first came to this country, the 9-year-old Gina who came here, what Is this something that she wanted? Is this something that's
Mhm.
aligned with?
What kind of a dream do you think you had when you were 9 years old, when you came to this new country for you?
Yeah, I remember honestly the first few days being in this country, I was like, this is a beautiful place. In Chicago at the time, that's where I grew up after coming to the US. I thought this country is literally beautiful, blue skies, green grass, trees, and people were so nice, very friendly. But it was also that year that I experienced pretty markedly different treatment and access or lack of access as immigrants or recent immigrants to this country. And then I thought I needed to I
Mm.
wanted to do something for my mother, for folks like her. And so even in middle school, high school, I was very involved in different immigrant rights groups in
Mhm.
Chicago. And there's always a part of me that's I feel like I want to do something with my abilities that I can help more people, that I can hopefully I can create better impact to help others like me, the other recent immigrants like me, to put down their roots, to contribute, to help grow this beautiful vision that we have coming here. And honestly, having that desire and that hope in me that seems to have gone hidden, buried in the
Mhm.
ground for the past decade. And then the more I was in the Wall Street world, I felt that disconnect, that misalignment. There came to a point where the external validations that I got, whether it's the dollar volume of transactions I did, the accolades that I got from my work, there's a part of me that's saying, "Hey, something doesn't feel right. There is a disconnect. What about that multidimensional you, Gina? Like you are an advocate. You are a community advocate. You are an artist. You loved community arts. You love different forms of community engagement. What happened to that piece?" And that's when I knew that I had to do something different again and just to pivot
Mhm.
again, right? Like after going from environmental advocate to Wall Street attorney, and then now starting my own law firm, my own legal practice, really catering to mission-driven businesses and founders. And so I'm hoping that this is a new paradigm for many in the industry and for potential founders and businesses thinking of, hey, how do we find great compassionate lawyers who get what we're doing, who's in this like we are, trying to build, trying to scale.
First of all, congratulations on that journey. And I am an immigrant too, so I know how it is to enter this country and, in a way, fight for the seat at the table. And you even went to Wall Street. And for the listeners, your company is called One Ally. And I like that ally. I feel like reading your biographies, okay, this is what I need. As a small business owner, you need to have an ally who is helping you rather than to pinpoint, oh, this is wrong, this is not okay. Because I think a lot of people have this stigma of our lawyers, they'll just point out what is wrong. But if you think of one ally, it's almost like a coach. I'm here to help you, I'm here to build you, I'm here to create your vision. So I feel like you're supporting small businesses and also, especially with your background as grassroots advocate, what I hear the theme throughout your life is that alignment of human centric people working for each other and with each other.
That's absolutely right. And then law, corporate law does not have to be cold. It should be compassion-centered lawyering. And we are advocates, we are allies. And I want to make sure that businesses and clients and potential clients know that. I want them to find a lawyer who's vested in their success. Excellence and empathy are not opposites, they
Mm.
are force multipliers. And that's the best lawyer and client model and relationship that I have seen that I personally believe in as well.
And when you said you started your own company, so you're one lawyer or you have others who work with you or for you?
Yes, I started my practice, and right now I am about to bring on a new partner,
Mm.
and he is very much an IP transactional attorney, very much an expert in licensing deals, patents, trademark, copyrights. So he supplements my expertise, which is in commercial transactions when it comes to M&A, the buying and sell of businesses, joint ventures, commercial contracts. And so in this way, we're slowly growing our team, our practice area strategically to serve our clients because we do have clients in the space of biotech and clean energy and clean tech. And so it's great that we are now growing in the sense that we're adding a lot of sophisticated IP capabilities.
And that's needed today with AI coming into the spectrum. I'm sure that's also having an impact on your practice.
Oh, for sure. Yes. No, we
Mm.
definitely embrace that.
Yeah, we all do. Yeah. So now we spoke a little bit about business, but let's talk a little bit about your passion. So, education insight. Tell us more what that is and how we can support you. Also, one aspect of bringing people together on my platform is like, how can we help you?
Oh, thank you for asking that. There are quite a few causes that are very much near and dear to my heart. And so when I grew up in Chicago, I was a very much a lucky recipient of programs help from the Chicago community. There are two notable organizations that I want to give a special shout out to. One is High Jump Chicago. And this is an organization that has provided a tremendous amount of support to students in underserved schools throughout Chicago. And the program exposes these students to very rigorous curriculum. And I was lucky that I was part of
Mm.
it for 2 years in middle school. And so I attribute a lot of my drive and my nerdiness to this
Mhm.
program that exposed me to a lot more. And there's the other organization in Chicago called the Chinese American Service League, short is CASTLE, that also has been a tenant in the Chinatown community, servicing a lot of recent immigrants. That's where my mom took her English classes, citizenship classes, and that's where I was a tutor volunteer for 4 or 5 years throughout high school and middle school. And it's just so great that these community organizations existed and continue to exist. But now more than ever, I really hope that people are seeing how critical their survival is to the fabric of our civil society. And so for me, it's always been how do I think about like, civil society participation in a scale that I want to influence, I want to
Mhm.
impact. And so for me, when I was in China, so I did my Fulbright research on post-earthquake rebuilding in Southwest China in Sichuan province. And there I also approached it from the angle of what can I do to really help beyond the role of just being a researcher. And to me, it was very obvious when I went to some of the local rural schools. A lot of students did not have access to basic healthcare
Mhm.
services, especially eye exam services. And it was very critical for students to be able to see the
Mhm.
blackboard. Some of them had issues squinting, they had issues actually just performing because of something that we think as so fixable as eye exam and glasses just were out of question. And so we mobilized a network of really great teachers, volunteers to start the movement, start the organization called Education Insight. And we were able to partner with Teach for China at a time to help us deliver just very, really good healthcare, eye care services to the classrooms by partnering with the doctors in the area, the eye care doctors, optometrists as well. That became something that I'm definitely very proud of. At the same time, I became very involved in climate action as well. It's always education and climate change.
Mm.
And in those two areas, that's where my heart is very much aligned when it comes to, oh, what can I do? These are things that I see literally happening before the
Mhm.
impact of climate change. And when I was in rural China, working with folks on rebuilding, I saw the impact of water degradation, of soil erosion, and this directly affected people's drinking supplies,
Mhm.
but it affected the food that's grown,
Mhm.
whether it's food safety, whether it's food security, because we're talking about the loss of arable land due to development. And how do we think about sustainable development at all? And so there are larger questions and policy that needs to really be attuned to what's happening in the day to day for farmers and their livelihoods. But then that's also why civic society is important and so such a critical piece of it and how that should be involved in policy making. And so I'm very happy that I got to be a very much integral participant in that movement to think about food sustainability, to think about working with farmers, collectives, and building that initial collective in Southwest China to really drive home the message of let's use this as a way to protect our water supply. The river delta region in that area is extremely fragile in terms of water. This is so great for the farmers' livelihoods too, if they're able to sell their goods for a higher price because it's sustainable, it's regenerative. A lot of the urban consumers are willing to support these farmers and producers by paying higher fees for the goods that for the produce that they eat. That's cleaner, that's just much safer. And it was just super rewarding for me to see the building of civic society at that level in China, in Asia, and then draw parallels to the work that I did in Chicago and working with different immigrant communities too. This is hard work. This is so rewarding, so powerful that I can't put a number to it. And that sense was missing in the work that I was doing on Wall Street. It was fulfilling in a way. I delivered amazing outcomes for clients. We won XYZ transactions. But then at the end of the day, I'm thinking, what problem, issue, impact am I actually pushing forward solve? So I missed that multidimensional me that felt very much compressed in the law firm life.
It seems like that water element comes always back to you because in your biography, I also read Chinese watercolor artist.
I love art and I love painting. So I grew up in Southwest China in Sichuan province. My grandparents, they grew up in this water town called Liujiang, and it's one of the most beautiful villages that I have seen. My grandmother's house that we can all visit today.
Okay.
It's next to the river, and it's a pretty big river too. And every time I had vacation back when I was in China, I always remember spending time in this village along the river banks and then going to the hills and mountains and then going to the farm fields, catching grasshoppers, feeding that to the chickens. Remember using bamboo poles, right, dipped in spider webs to catch dragonflies. So those activities always brought so much vivid just imagery to me that I wanted to find a way to preserve that. And for me, that was through art and through Chinese watercolor painting. And so I studied that art form for about a few years, middle school, high school, and I started doing landscape paintings. And one painting I did was of my grandparents' village, of the mountains, the water, the bamboo forest. And so it's a way for me to stay rooted and grounded who I am and where I come from. And I draw a ton of inspiration from classical Chinese culture, the beauty and elegance of that as well. Incredibly rejuvenating. It's a place where I can go into my headspace and think this is something that I feel so blessed that I have that I can go back to. And then I sure hope that whatever we're doing as a society, we can create that space, that nature, and preserve that for future generations to treasure and to enjoy that as well.
Thank you so much. This is very inspiring. And that water, I just see that beautiful landscape. And also, I would love to see your art. I wish you good luck. And we have all the information of your company in the show notes. And I hope we can stay in contact. Thank you so much, Gina.
Thank you so much, Julianne. It's been such a pleasure speaking with you today.
What are you taking away from this inspiring talk with Gina? I learned so much. Such an inspiring story from China to Chicago to New York and starting your own business as an immigrant. Take it from the Ein Woman. We have episodes every Monday. Come and join us. Come and learn with us. Come and learn with others and from others. And also get the book, Take It From the Iron Woman, Global Business Coaching with Sports Parallels. And the new program is Get Fit in 2026. It's to put the running shoes on for leadership. It's not a fitness program. It's something for you. It's something special and magical. And also you can subscribe to the podcast on the platform you're listening to this podcast to today. Thank you so much for your support, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.